Hello, my name is Paul Gates, and I'd like to welcome you to a new series entitled Home Storage Survival, a collection of short video vignettes designed to arm you with the knowledge, tools, and information to assist you in becoming more self-reliant. Skills that may play an important role in preserving your life or the life of your loved ones in an emergency or any disaster situation. I've designed these presentations to help make you aware of resources that up to this point you may have never considered, and all can be found within the walls of your own home. So sit back, relax, and feel free to take notes as we introduce to you Home Storage Survival. In this video segment today, I'm going to show you how, with just 2 cans out of your pantry, a hanger, and parts of a computer, you'll be able to make this number 10 can survival stove right in the comforts of your own home. First thing you need is you need to get a number 10 can out of your pantry. Now, the way you open this is crucial. What I want you to do is I want you to plunge a knife in and cut out this inner ring right here. And it's going to look a little something like this when you're done with it. Then you're going to empty out the content. And then with this pair of tin snips, I'd like you to cut out about every ½ inch, a little tab all the way around. Because what I want to make here in the middle of this can is a compression flange. It's going to look a little something like this. That's so it can receive your second can. This can here, a little bit smaller. I've used a Dinty Moore stew can for this. And I've cut the top off as normal. And with this style of can opener, I put about 5 or 6 holes in the bottom. And then, next I want to take my tin snips again and cut off this top ring, and then cut up to, once again, about every ½ inch or so to that first ring. Then I'm going to bend it over, and it's going to look a little something like this. What I've created is a stop flange. So now with my inner can, I can put that against my number 10 can, compress it into place, and for the most part, our stove is done. Now we're going to add something to here because we've basically created an airtight chamber, and without oxygen, our fire would smother. So on the outside here, I've cut a little hole because we're going to put in a small laptop computer fan. Now, in a case of emergency, most of these items should be in your house, or you can go to a thrift store and buy a computer for just a couple of bucks, and most of them have 1 or 2 fans in them, and you can cannibalize those computers. Now, for this particular stove, I went to Radio Shack and purchased this small fan. A little more costly that way, but I really like the size. And the placement is crucial on these stoves. The larger fans take up a little more space, and I want that hole to be placed somewhere below the bottom of my inner can, which I'm going to use as a fuel hopper, and the bottom of the can. I don't want the hole all the way down here because when I set it on the ground to cook, sometimes the fan will pull in debris. So I've placed it up on the side of the can slightly. And then when we attach this fan, I've just driven in 2 small pilot holes on the opposite corner and put 2 brass screws in to hold that fan in place. Now, if you want to create a better airtight seal right here, you can use some aluminum tape to close that off. But the principle in this fan is that if you've ever gone camping and your fire has started to die out and you've leaned over and blown on it, by providing more oxygen to burn, the fire will burn hotter. So what we're in essence doing is providing a gentle breeze that will come up through our airtight chamber, past our fire, and stoke it up, and can really double our BTUs, make it the stove much hotter and cook more efficiently. Now, once we've assembled our stove, and you see it's very easy to assemble, 2 cans and a little fan, the next thing we're going to talk about is what type of fuel we would use in this stove. Now, this is a stove, of course, we're going to use outside, because we're going to use some combustible twigs, branches, and one of my favorite things are pine cones. But twigs and sticks will work just fine. These are things most people should be able to gather right out of their backyard. And what you do, there's a little secret about putting it in here and getting the fire started. You don't want to cram your fuel hopper tight to begin with. You want to loosely pack it so the air can blow through. But I usually will put my fuel in there, and then in this little packet I have some lint from the dryer and a book of matches. I'll put a little lint in there and sometimes even put a little accelerant on that lint, like alcohol, and strike a match, and I'll allow that to burn a minute or two and let it establish itself before I'll hook up my 9-volt battery to the fan. And then when I do, it delivers a nice little gentle breeze, and you'll be surprised how that fire will stoke up. Now on top of my stove, I've fashioned out of a coat hanger a little wire rack. This way, when we're cooking, we can either use another can to cook with, or a pot, or a small fry pan, and this gives you space to feed your fire as it's cooking. The one thing about the number 10 can stove is you're going to have to tend it. The hopper is small. Because the fan is blowing on it, it consumes the fuel a little quicker, and you're going to have to make sure that you constantly feed your fire. But you'll get a hot enough fire to cook off of, and it's an excellent emergency stove that you can make in a matter of 10 to 15 minutes. I have really liked this stove, and I highly recommend you make one, pre-make one before you need it for an emergency. But that takes care of how to construct our number 10 can stove. One other thing I got is a small solar panel. I've used this on the number 10 can, and it works great, but you do have to use it in direct sunlight. Now when making these cans, keep in mind that we're dealing with metal that's sharp. I've made many of these, and I still catch my finger from time to time. Children shouldn't be making these without the supervision of an adult, and even adults should be careful. Make sure you have plenty of bandages. But that takes care of introducing to you today the number 10 can stove, and we look forward to seeing you down the road with some of our other ideas. For Home Storage Survival, this is Paul Gates. Thank you.